Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the lecture 5 of unit number 1. So in our preceding class, bootstrapping is going on. What is the bootstrapping? It is nothing but a concept of obtaining a compiler for a language by using a compiler for less powerful version of the same language. That is a subset. So I have already given you one of the best example that how we can upgrade our softwares. So for that we use the old version, and then by adding some new rules and regulation, new functions, or we add such type of functions so that we can make our software more user friendly. So for that we use the older version. So that is called the, here we are considering the example of bootstrapping. In this case we are using the old software, and with the help of that old version or the old software we are implementing the new compiler. Okay, so it is nothing but to obtain a new compiler. How we are obtaining this? We are using the older version of that. Okay, so consider the case of the compiler for language L. L is a language, just we are representing the language by the capital L being implemented the assembly language of machine A. Then how we are going to implement the machine language for that? CAL2A. So what is the CA? This is called the compiler, and this is the language in which this compiler has already been written. And what is the function of this compiler? It is converting L to A. L, this is a high level language, and it is converting to A. That is the another language. Okay, L to A. So we are using here two languages, that is high level to low level language. Okay, and this is fixed one. Here A is the language in which this compiler was written. So this is the nomenclature, how we can indicate the compiler in case of the bootstrapping. A compiler written in language A. Okay, just here describing which converts a program written in language L, and this is common one. We can say that L must be high level language here, because the function of the compiler is to convert high level language into the low level language. So here L is indicating high level language. So it is converting L to A. Okay. A compiler, similarly, just we are considering another language. A compiler for L star. L star, what is this L star? A subset of L. Okay. A subset of language L. L star is coming inside the L. L contains more number of elements, and L star is a subset of that. So a compiler for L star, a subset of L, can be more easily written. Now what we are doing here, CA, again the language of this compiler is A, in which this compiler was written, and it is converting L star to A. What is the L star? L star, it is a subset of L. Okay, so this is another language and converting to A. Even though we are already aware L star must be high level language, because the function of the compiler is to convert high level language to low level language. So a compiler written in language which converts a program written in L star into a program written in A. So this is the way to write the nomenclature. So this is called the nomenclature. Now compiler for language L. Now you can see the compiler for L star, the subset of L, where L star is the subset of L. Now CL star, it may be possible that this compiler may be written in L star. Okay, so this is now the, if we are writing this in suffix, it means this is the own language of this compiler. That is, this compiler was written in L star and it is converting L to A. So just try to understand the nomenclature. It is converting L to A. So we can say that a compiler written in language L star. Okay, here compiler is written into L star, which converts a program written in into a program written A. Here it is converting, here L will come here, so it is converting L to A. Now we can write in this form CL star L to A. Now CAL star to A, and this is for machine A, CAL star to A. So there are several steps here we will use to convert the L to A, and again it is a subset, so this will come inside this L. Okay, so L star, because L star is the subset of L, so this will come inside this, and we can write similarly this for machine A, it is converting L to A. So this is called the bootstrapping step. This is called the bootstrapping step. Why is it called the bootstrapping step? Because L star is the subset of L. Here L star is the subset of L. Okay, don't think whatever the language of this compiler. This is the internal language in which this compiler was written. So don't think about this. Just you think over L star to A and L star. This is the subset of L. So we can write here again L2 star. It is converting L2 star. This is also high level language. L, this is again high level language, but L star is the subset of L. This will come inside this. Okay, so we can say that this is the old version. This is the old version. Just we are adding some functions to this and we are getting this. So just we are improving the version here. So we can write. So if we are using the older version, this is the older version, then this is called the bootstrapping step. So with the help of this older version, we are adding more functions to this compiler and we are getting this one, CAL2A. Now this compiler is written into low level language. Now here, this is the compiler, its own language in which it was built and converting L to A. So this step, only the central step, mid step is called the bootstrapping step. Okay, whether we are using machine A or we are doing the same work for machine B. Now we can write similarly for here CL star L to B. Here B is another low level language. Okay, we can write here a first low level language, another low level language. So we can indicate in similar fashion as above one. Okay, so again L star older version converting to A, and again we are getting here the same thing L to A. It means just we are getting the complete set. Here it is converting high level language to assembly language. But first we concentrate over this. So this mid portion is called the bootstrapping step. Why is it called the bootstrapping? Because we are using here older version and we are going to enhance this. How we can enhancing, upgrading this compiler just by adding more functions. Okay, more functions. Whenever we will add more functions, then we will get the complete set. This is a subset and this is a complete set. it will convert high level language to machine language. Now what is the cross compiler? What is the cross compiler? So a cross compiler is a compiler which run on one machine and generates code for the other machine. So we can indicate this as CXL2Y. Okay. So here we can say that X is not equal to Y. Here X is not equal to Y. This is different. This is different. Okay. So a cross compiler, it runs on one machine and generates code for other machine. So this is the way to define the cross compiler. So what is the cross compiler? It runs on one machine and generates code for other machine. Reason to use this, why we use this compiler? Because there is a memory limitations also permit the use of high level language for small machines, which would otherwise be impossible. So main first we emphasize over the limitation of memory. So there is a limitation of memory here and permits the use of high level language for small machines. Here this compiler is permitting, means the cross compiler permitting to work with small machines even. So we can use the compiler on small machines and it will do the same function. It will convert high level language into the machine language. So we can even use the small machine, and on the small machines we can use this cross compiler. Suppose we have two machines, there are two machines A and B, and let just we are indicating again CAL2A. Okay, CAL2A. This is own language. This compiler was written in A, converting L to A. Suppose we want to code compiler to machine B. So we want to generate now CBL2B. Okay, so this is first compiler, this is another compiler. Just we are generating the code for other. The first is write CBL2B. This is another machine, this is another machine. First machine, second machine. Okay, now obtain a cross compiler by bootstrapping. So here we will use the same steps, that is the mid portion steps, and we can generate the code for other. So we will do the bootstrapping step here. So compile CBL2B under CAL2A. Now there are two machines, CA and CB. It converting L2A and this is L2B. So there are two machines, and how it will work, then CL L2B, CA L2B, CB L2B. So CL is the language for this compiler, means this compiler was written in high level language. Okay, and it is converting high level language to the low level language. Here again there is a CA, another compiler converting to high level to B. Again this is another machine converting to B, and with the help of the bootstrapping step we can get CAL to B. That is, here we are writing the similar thing, but again here is CA, then we are using CA. So it is converting to B. Here it is converting to A because there are two machines. So this will convert to B and this will convert to A. But ultimately here we will get L to B. So such type of steps are called the bootstrapping steps. Just we want to show that how the machine can generate the code for the other. So for generating the code for the other machine, we will use the bootstrapping steps. Another type of compiler is called the compiler. What is the compilers? Means for a compiler, whatever we are using, suppose Turbo C++. It is one of the compiler, but Turbo C compiler has its own compiler. Okay, it also has its own compiler, so that is called the compiler. So compilers offer an alternative approach to reduce the work. Why we use compilers? Because it contains the internal structure of the other one, and it reduces the workload. It reduces the work involved in implementing a new compiler. So this is called the compiler. So every compiler has its own compiler. Okay. Whenever any compiler was written either in low level language or high level language, then it has its own compiler, that is called the compiler. So when a compiler for language L is to be implemented, the lexical, syntax and semantic aspects of the language are described in the location acceptable to the compilers. Okay, the compiler uses this description to produce lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, and a semantic driver respectively. So the function are same. We can say that compiler function or itself compiler, the functions are same. Compilers work for itself, and main compiler work for the programmers, because it converts high level language to machine language. So there are two types of compiler. First is called the compiler, main compiler, and another is called the compiler. Okay. So each and every compiler has its own compiler, that is called the compiler. Now there are several practice questions at the end of this lecture, because we have already finished this unit, and if you have any question, then you can ask. You are always welcome to make any type of query, but at the end of each unit I will give you some sort of questions for your practice. So these are the long answer questions here, long answer type. What are the different compiler writing tools? Okay, so we have already discussed regarding the compiler writing tool. There are 5 types of tools. Okay, describe in brief about each. So now here is a need to describe about all the tools, compiler writing tools. Okay, another question, explain the difference between the syntax and semantic analysis with suitable example. What is the syntax analysis and what is the semantic analysis? Syntax analysis means just you are going to form the parse tree. Here, if you will get the one parse tree, means grammar is unambiguous. Okay. If you are getting more than one tree, it means you are not following proper rules and regulation, or we can say the syntax, or we can say the protocols. Then in this case we will get the two parse tree, or we can say the ambiguous grammar. So in case of unambiguous grammar, we will get only one syntax tree. Semantic analysis, what is this semantic analysis? Here we will do the type checking, we will check the logic here. So these are the basic questions which may be asked in unit number 1. Taking into consideration the compilation time and design structure, compare any two of the following types of compiler. We have already discussed each and everything: single pass compiler, incremental compiler, optimizing compiler. So you can concentrate over such type of questions and go through the answers of these questions. If you have any problem, we have already uploaded the PDF of this. Okay, so you can find there. Question number 4. What is the role of lexical analyzer in the process of compilation? Explain briefly the various functions performed by lexical analyzer. So what are the various functions performed by the lexical analyzer? You are already aware. Okay, what is the lexical analyzer? Anybody else? Would you like to tell me about the lexical analyzer, or what is the function of the lexical analyzer? Let me know. Anybody else in the class?
टोकन्स में बांट देता है सर ये.
It divides our program into number of expression, number of lines. Okay, and after from number of lines we will get small expressions, and then again it divides into number of lexes. Okay, and those lexes are called the tokens. Okay, and you are already aware by the number of tokens. There are 5 types of tokens. So with the help of those tokens, we can form, whenever those tokens combined, we will get the expression, and whenever the expression combined, we will get a lines, and then the lines form the program. So this is the way. Okay. So this is the function of the lexical analyzer. It divides our program. It scans first and then divide our program into number of lexes, or we can say the number of tokens. What is the bootstrapping? How does it help to make a cross compiler? You have already just gone through about the bootstrapping. What is the bootstrapping? Just we have used a number of steps just by considering the two different compilers for machine A and machine B, and how we are converting or implementing from low version to a higher version. We are using the older version and we are implementing the new one. So in that case, we will use the bootstrapping steps. So just we are going to upgrade our compilers, upgrade our softwares. So in this case, we will use bootstrapping steps. Explain in brief different phases of compiler. What are the different phases of compiler? Any idea? Anybody else? What are the different
So
phases?
lexical analysis, semantic analysis, syntax analysis, and intermediate code
Yes.
and code optimization.
Okay. Okay, these are called the different phases of compiler. So just you are considering first lexical analyzer, then syntax analyzer, and then semantic analysis, intermediate code generation, and then code optimization, and then target code generation. Okay, so these are called the different phases of the compiler. But here we will explain in detail, not just writing only in these 4 or 5 or 6 steps. Okay, here we have to explain in detail. Now question number 7, define the following terms in programming language grammar with suitable example. What is the terminals? What are the non-terminals? What are the distinguished symbol? What is the production? What is the reduction? So these are the 5 items which we can define with the help of the example. Okay. So you can write here the definitions of each one with the help of suitable example. So terminal symbol, let me know about the terminal symbols. Let me know about the terminal symbol. Anybody else? Because we have already finished this unit. Please tell me. How we can define the terminal? Any idea? Anybody else? Anybody else? There are 11 participants, 11 students.
Small alphabets, sir.
Pardon? A small
Small
alphabet.
alphabets, sir.
Small alphabets. Yes, a small A, B, C, D up to Z, 0, 1 up to 9. Okay, you can use. So these are called the terminal symbols. Non-terminal symbols. How can we define non-terminal symbols? Caps lock, capital A, B, C, D. Okay, A, comma, B, comma, C up to Z. So if you are writing the character into caps lock, if you are writing the alphabet in the caps lock, a single capital letter is called the non-terminal. Okay, or if any string within the angular brackets, again that is called the non-terminal. Okay, if there is any string and this is enclosed by the angular brackets, then it is called the non-terminal. Or a single alphabet, single caps lock, A, capital B up to Z, then this is called the, a single caps lock is called the non-terminal symbol, or a string enclosed by angular bracket is called the non-terminal. Distinguish symbol, what is the distinguish symbol? Huh? Tell me, what is the distinguish symbol? No idea. You have already finished.
सर पार्ट्स ऑफ
Sir,
स्पीच के
noun.
जो होते हैं.
Yes, sir. Parts of speech, noun, phrase, मतलब article वगैरह.
Again, it is going to be closed down, running, creating the problem room. So, you are already aware by the distinguish symbol, production, reduction. Okay. So, distinguished symbol, the central part. Okay. Two colons and equal sign. So, the central part from, we can say that we have a string on the left side and also a string on the right side, then the mid portion is called the distinguish symbol. Similarly, production, it is a combination of the terminals and non-terminals on the right side. And again, the reduction, just we are going to reduce any string or we are going to form any string. Then if we are reducing any string, then it is called the reduction. Okay. So production and distinguish symbol, non-terminals and terminals, we have already discussed each and everything. Now there are few multiple choice questions for your practice, because I can also ask or I can give you some sort of test, okay, or the quiz that will be based on the multiple choice question. So for the practice, just here I am giving you some MCQs with answer. So first question is, a system program that combines separately compiled models of a program into a form suitable for execution is called. What is called? A system program that combines separately compiled modules. If we have a number of compiled modules of a program into a form suitable for execution is called, let me know, assembler, linking loader, cross compiler, none of the mentioned. So here is linking loader, a system program that combines. Here just we are going to combine several programs and then it will load complete program. If there are several modules, then several modules combined and then it loads. So which software loads? That is called the loader. Okay. And that links several functions, that is called the linker. So here linking loader upload all the program. First is combined all the modules, then it loads. So here answer is B. Another question, a compiler for high level language that runs on one machine and produces code for a different machine is called, क्या कहलाता है भाई?
The cross compiler.
Cross compiler. Okay. So this is called the cross compiler. Third one, cross compiler is a compiler which is written in different language from the source language that generates object code for the machine it's running on, which is written in the same language as the source language that runs on one machine but produces object code for another machine. So cross compiler is a compiler which is written in a different language from the source language. Here meaning is this, the language of the compiler in which compiler is written, maybe any language, okay, maybe different language we can use to write the compiler itself. So even though we are aware by that compiler converts high level language into the low level language, but it is not necessary that each and every compiler must be written into high level language. So it may be different language. Cross compiler is used in bootstrapping. Bootstrapping, can we use the cross compiler in bootstrapping? Yes, we can use. Okay, so this is true or false? Then it is true. Is GCC a cross compiler? GCC is a cross compiler. What is the GCC?
उबंटू में होता है सर ये
Huh? Ubuntu में.
उबंटू में होता है सर।
Yes, yes, yes. We use
सर लिनक्स
हाँ
OS
लिनक्स में तो Ubuntu यूज करते हैं तो उसमें we can use this GCC compiler. Okay. Then what is the GCC compiler? Is GCC is a cross compiler? Yes, it is a cross compiler. So these are the basic questions on the compiler. The compiler translates the source code to, tell me now, executable code, machine code, binary code, both B and C. Compiler translates the source code to
some machine code.
machine code, binary code, both B and C. Both B and C. Machine code is not different than the binary code. Okay? Machine code means low level language. Binary code, low level language. Machine code, machine language, it is nothing but the binary language. Okay? So both are similar. Machine code, binary code, these are same. So here answer will come both B and C. Compiler translates the source code means high level language, source code means source program to machine code or binary code. Okay, so both B and C will come. Which of the following groups is are taken together into semantic structures? Which of the following groups? Now see syntax analyzer, intermediate code generation, lexical analyzer, semantic analyzer. Which of the following groups?
लेक्सिकल एनालिसिस
Lexical analyzer. So what is the function of lexical analyzer? Here just I am again reading this question. Which of the following groups is or are? Okay. Is or are. We can use is or either are. Okay. So but here is token together into semantic structures. Lexical analyzer. What is the function of lexical analyzer? It gives lexis. Okay. It gives you tokens. Okay. It gives you tokens or we can say lexis. So here answer will come lexical analyzer because lexical analyzer will give you tokens. Okay, will give you tokens or lexis. So this is the function of the lexical analyzer. Question number 8. Now come to this. Compiler should report the presence of in the source program in translation process. So compiler should report the presence of what?
The errors.
Errors. Okay, right. The compiler should report the presence of errors. There are two functions of the compiler. First function is convert high level language into the machine language. Another function to detect the errors in the program. Okay, it gives the diagnostic messages. So there are two functions of the compiler. First, it converts source program into the machine language program. And then another function is it gives diagnostic messages, means errors. So ultimately, we have to debug our program. Question number 9. What is the output of lexical analyzer? What is the output of lexical analyzer? Parse tree, list of tokens, intermediate code, machine code. Let me know the answer of this.
List of tokens.
List of tokens. Yes. What is the output of lexical analyzer? Lexical analyzer gives us lexis, number of tokens, or we can say here list of tokens. So B part is okay. Next question. How many parts of compiler are there?
Two.
Compiler के कितने